One of the best things about learning guitar is playing your favourite riffs. Recreating those sounds. It kind of feels like magic. But if we look beyond merely wanting to know where to put our fingers, there's a world of technical information that can turn our favourite riffs into brilliant exercises. Recently I've been using John Frusciante's riffs when teaching my more advanced students. Not just for the fun of replicating a Chili Peppers song, but to really hone those fine motor skills and lock it in the pocket. So let's check out 8 of John's wicked little riffs and see what we can learn. Around the World from 1999's Californication is a seemingly simple 3-note riff that may be played all on one string. It's not too quick at around 98 BPM in the first verse. His pick attack is the same on each note, with not much difference in tone between the upstrokes and the downstrokes. His synchronization is perfect. He strikes the string exactly as his finger is hitting the next fret. And the timing isn't too tricky, it's just that very first open D note is played just before the downbeat, just before beat 1. So you need to pick that with an up. But. So yeah, the riff is pretty easy to play, but record yourself playing it 10 times in a row, because that's what the verse of this song is, and then listen back with a critical ear to assess whether you're clear and consistent and locked in. Hump de Bump from Stadium Arcadium. This genius riff consists of only 2 notes. You'd think that'd make it simple. But try playing it in blocks of 12 repeats with that flawless staccato groove. That's what John does for each verse. Resist the urge to fill up the gaps with muted string clicks. John doesn't play it that way until his pre-chorus build-up. Readymade is also from 2006's Stadium Arcadium. This rockin' Zeppelin-esque riff possesses the simplest rhythmic structure of our selection today, but the relentlessness makes it a challenge, especially when you consider that John plays this riff for 8 straight repeats. That's 256 notes before you get a breather. What we want here is to generate a driving rock feel that never lets up. No muffled notes, no audible slides or accidental hammers or pulls, just non-stop rocking. Blood Sugar Sex Magik. This one is really valuable for navigating the neck. Normally we learn things in positions when we're learning guitar, so we use all of our fingers to minimise the amount of lateral movement we have to make. But this brilliant and original sounding riff is based on little portable 5-chord shapes, which prepares us for playing octaves and other movable forms. Tell Me Baby, another track from Stadium Arcadium, is an exercise in clean, sparse funk. The riff is longer this time, 4 measures, with the first pattern being repeated almost identically 3 times in a row, before an answering phrase finally closes the loop. The trick with this one is to master the subtleties of the final measures slide and hammer, whilst maintaining the precision of another staccato riff that's full of breathing space. You may find that your hammer-on is too soft or your slide is too quick. Suck My Kiss is an absolute belter off Blood Sugar Sex Magik. It's basically just a 2-note riff repeated 4 times with an embellishment at the end. The trouble with this one is John's 16th note advance of that first note each second time he plays it. So he starts it just a bit earlier than the next downbeat. When I show my students this one, the temptation for most of them is to simply play the first note right on the next downbeat. You can tell something's not right. It sounds close, but the devil is in the detail. Can't Stop, by the way, 2002. You've probably already played this one. It's one of the most popular Chili Peppers riffs to learn. It's a real string skipping workout. But John doesn't play it that way. He actually mutes every string except for the one that he's playing. So his thumb's hanging over the top and the fleshy parts of these fingers are muting the lower strings. So it's more like... So we've got almost a strumming motion with the right hand. And this can be just as challenging to execute as playing those string skips really cleanly. But it lends a lot of funk and feel to the groove to play like that. You get all these other muted strings in every note. Sorry, we've got some work going on outside. And then listen back with that critical ear, find out the places where your transitions aren't smooth and work on those. Finally, Give It Away from 1991's Blood Sugar Sex Magik. This is one of my absolute faves because it sounds so simple and it complements Flea's emphatic bass line perfectly without getting in the way at all. And yet, it's actually deceptively confusing. No one plays this correctly. The difficulty lies in the subtle differences between measures 1 and 3. Both bars feature the exact same notes, but the second time it's played, every note except for the first one is advanced by a 16th, and then the last note is pushed back by a 16th. Measures 2 and 4 have the exact same phrasing, but completely different notes. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. That's it. Check him out. Be hard on yourself. Don't just do it twice and go, oh yeah, I like that riff. Get in there and do a lot of repeats. Record yourself. If you're using a DAW, some sort of digital recording software, get that click going. All the tempos are on the tabs and play it lots of times and be hard on yourself. Look back at your recording. Look at where your transients, the peaks of your notes, sit in reference to the grid and make sure it's consistent. It doesn't have to be right on because your feel may not be smack on the beat. You might hang back a little bit and be ever so slightly after each beat, or you might like pushing it, you might play it before. That might vary depending on which riff you're playing. That might vary throughout the riff. The start of the riff might be smack on and the end phrase might punch it up a tiny bit. But what we don't want is for that to be different on the next repeat. So if you're locking in on your first 3 notes, then look at your next repeat and make sure it's the same. You can find the tabs for all my lessons and lots of other stuff on my Patreon, where you can also throw me a little bit of financial support if you desire, which helps me get in front of this thing and make you more lessons.